Michael was a happy young child, and today was a very special day. He was turning 7 years old, and he had invited everyone from his elementary class to his house for the party. The decorations were set, the treats were out and about, and the cake was in the oven. The only thing left were for the other kids to arrive. Michael was walking about the kitchen in anticipation, his parents elsewhere in the house, when he heard an unfamiliar voice behind him. "Michael!" Turning around, Michael saw an unbelievable, terrifying figure. A skeleton, an honest-to-God skeleton in an old soldier's uniform with flaming eyes. The socket stared directly into his soul, and Michael froze in fear. As the skeleton shambled towards him, Michael felt both too hot and too cold, and once face to face with the specter, it spoke again. "Where is the cargo?" He couldn't move. "Michael!" He felt a warm patch in his pants. He'd pissed himself in fear. "Where is the cargo?" Michael fell back and began to cry and scream. Before his eyes, the skeleton vanished, right as his parents came rushing in to see what was the matter. Michael was able to recover from the shock before the kids arrived, and was able to enjoy the party somewhat, avoiding the kitchen when possible. His parents feared the worst, and over the next year they tested him for childhood mental illness. But as the years passed and as Michael grew, the doctor visits grew more sparse, and the memory of the skeleton faded. It was Michael's 14th birthday. He decided to have his party on the day after, and have a smaller family celebration on the actual day. His parents were driving him out to a family restaurant, and all was well. The car pulled into a parking spot, and Michael unbuckled himself. But then he heard a whisper that froze him in place. "Michael, where is the cargo?" Memories of that day came flooding back to him. "Go away," he muttered to himself as he stepped out of the car. His parents were waiting at the front door of the restaurant. As he walked across the parking lot, he heard the voice again. "Michael, where is the cargo?" "Get out of my head," he said aloud. And then, before his eyes, the skeleton in the old soldier's uniform with flaming eyes appeared. In its bony hand it held a rusty revolver. Michael froze up as the skeleton aimed the old gun right between his eyes. It cocked its head to the side, and then twisted around towards his mother and father. "No!" Bang! Bang! Michael rushed towards his collapsed parents, screaming in horror, with tears in his eyes. People rushed out of the restaurant, but the skeleton was gone. All that remained was a broken Michael and the bodies of his parents. High school was a delirious daze. His parents were dead. Nobody was there to take him in. He lived out of an orphanage, and he had no idea who his parents' killer was. Surely he hallucinated the skeleton, and someone else shot his parents dead. But who? Who could have done something like that? The police were useless, and left the case unsolved, as there were no witnesses other than Michael. He had to lie to them, claiming someone drove by and shot them, just to remove suspicion from himself. But what if he was the killer? He must have hallucinated the skeleton, so he might be crazy, and maybe... But all those thoughts and fears would disappear after he met Anna. It started as a simple crush, but after spending time together, the relationship blossomed. She was smart, empathetic, and when he was at his lowest points, she was there to hoist him back up. He wasn't a murderer. He was a person. He didn't kill his parents, and he didn't know who did. But life with Anna wasn't worth giving up for closure on an unsolvable mystery. That was the conclusion he came to after years of therapy. After graduation, Michael used his parents' inheritance to get an apartment with Anna. There were still bad days, yes, but things were getting better, and at times Michael could even say he was happy. On his 21st birthday, Michael and Anna went out to celebrate with drinks. He took her to the fanciest restaurant he could reasonably afford, and after some chit-chat and flirting, he ordered a high-class bottle of wine. But before it arrived at the table, as he was looking deep into the eyes of the love of his life, he heard it. Michael! Fear, anxiety, terror. Michael shot up and looked for the source. Standing across the street through the restaurant window, the skeleton in the old soldier's uniform with flaming eyes stood. Where is the cargo? People were looking at Michael strangely. Anna asked what was wrong. Michael! Go away! I don't know what you're talking about. Just leave me alone! The skeleton cocked its head to the side, then raised its arm, holding a rusty revolver. Immediately, Michael lunged towards Anna to get her down, but before he made it, bang, bang, bang! Anna was shot repeatedly among shards of shattered glass. Michael couldn't listen to what the police were saying. There were mumblings about a stalker, but it didn't matter to him. Michael knew the skeleton in the old soldier's uniform was real. The only person he loved was dead, murdered by an evil spirit that took away his parents and ruined his life. It was going to pay for its crimes. Everything in Michael's life became twisted around revenge. His now hollow apartment began to look like that of a manic conspiracy theorist. The pattern had appeared on his 7th, 14th, and 21st birthday. Every 7 years, so will it appear again on his 28th? Good, more time to plan. But why 7 years? Its uniform matched that of a World War I pilot. The gun, too. It was a standard revolver for British soldiers of the Great War. Where is the significance? Did he have an ancestor who fought in World War I? He did. A great-grandfather also named Michael? A pilot, too. Born on the same day as him? It's all coming together, or is it? Why? Every question led to more. Who is the skeleton? His great-grandfather? No. The ghost was asking for Michael about the cargo, but what is the cargo? Bombs? Military secrets? Contraband? What the hell is the cargo? And why is it something worth killing over? Why torment him? Did the skeleton believe him to be his great-grandfather? Is the specter someone who knew him? A co-pilot? Was it transporting something? Was there a betrayal? Was the demon promised the cargo? Was it killed with unfinished business? But how do you kill that which is already dead? Exorcism, salt, silver? It could affect the physical world, so maybe the physical world could affect it? Surely it couldn't be as easy as a shotgun blast to the head, but why not try? If Michael failed to kill it, he'd have to wait another 7 years, or die trying. Not like he even felt alive. Before he knew it, nearly 7 years had passed. Every waking moment was spent preparing, researching, or thinking about the next confrontation. Michael had blown through all his money, all for one day on his 28th. Before the big day, he packed his equipment into his van and drove out to a pre-selected, isolated field, miles from civilization, alone. He wouldn't let the skeleton kill another innocent person. The setup began. Salt circles, pentagrams of vinegar, crucifixes, Bibles, and much, much more. He brought everything that even claimed to affect the supernatural. And as a last-ditch effort, he had a fully loaded, double-barreled shotgun with silver buckshot. Would it work? Would any of it work? He was going to find out. The next day was Michael's 28th birthday. There was no celebration or merriment, just sitting in silent tension all day, waiting. The sun rose high into the sky. Nothing. Time passed. Michael waited. The sun reached its peak and continued its march. It was hot and quiet. Michael waited. The sun kissed the horizon, dipping down into twilight. With a flip of a switch, Michael turned on the floodlights he had prepared and continued to wait. It was dark, the floodlights shining spotlights on empty dirt. Michael held his composure. Then he heard it. Michael! He snapped to the direction of the noise. Nothing. Then, again. Where is the cargo? This time it came from behind, but nothing was visible. Michael! Where was it coming from? Where? Where is the cargo? Where are you? Show yourself! Then he saw the specter standing on the edge of his salt barrier. He immediately raised his special shotgun, aimed at the figure, and fired. Bang! The specter was blasted back into the dark. Did it work? Michael! Right in his ear, the specter screeched. As he turned to face it, bang! A gunshot rang out, and Michael's knee became a hot, shadowed eruption of excruciating pain. He dropped, curling in agony, as the skeleton stood over him, soaked in the light of the flood lamp. Michael reached for his shotgun. Bang! A bullet hole violently appeared in the palm of his hand. As he seethed in pain, the specter stepped on his chest, pointing its rusty revolver at Michael's face. Michael, where is the cargo? Staring death in the face, Michael devolved back to the terrified child that froze in fear so many years ago, and began to sob. Michael! Why did it have to end like this? Why had he been tormented by the supernatural? And what the hell is... Where is the cargo? What the hell are you talking about? What cargo? The specter paused for a moment, then leaned forward. Closer and closer, until touching its icy cold skull to Michael's forehead. Say that again. There was a moment of silence. Nothing moved. Say it. What cargo? Cargo. Beep beep.